Okay, so I want to talk about something today that I think might surprise some of you, especially coming from someone who follows the 80-20 lifestyle and has been pretty vocal about the fact that I don't believe in restriction and I don't believe in cutting out the foods that I love. I track my food, not every single day, not being obsessive about it, but for the most part, but consistently enough that it has genuinely changed how I understand what I'm actually eating versus what I think I'm eating. And that gap between what I thought and what was actually true explained a lot about why my body wasn't responding the way I expected it to for a long time. So today I want to talk about that. I'm Miguel, this is High Five Fit. What's up everyone? Welcome back. I'm Miguel, and if you're new here, this channel is built around 5 pillars: move it, mind right, eat well, rest and recover, and real life. I'm a Houston realtor, a business owner, and a veteran. I gained about 30 pounds before I decided something had to change. Now I use AI and simple systems to make health fit into my real life without it taking over my life. If that sounds like what you've been looking for, hit subscribe and stick around. Let's get into it. All right, so before I say anything else, I need to be real clear about something. I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a nutritionist, I am not any kind of medical professional. Everything I'm sharing today is based on my personal experience with the MyFitnessPal app and what I personally noticed when I started using it. If you have a history of disordered eating or any health condition that affects your relationship with food, please talk to a qualified professional before starting any kind of food tracking. This is not for everyone, and I want to be upfront about that. Take what is useful from this video and genuinely leave what is not. Now, with that said, let me tell you what actually happened when I started tracking. So I want to paint you a picture of where I was before I started using MyFitnessPal. I was training consistently. I was doing 5 days a week at the gym. I thought I was eating pretty well. I wasn't hitting drive-thrus every day. I wasn't eating terrible food all the time. I genuinely believed I had a decent handle on my nutrition. And yet my body wasn't moving the way I expected it to based on the work I was putting in. The scale wasn't doing what I thought it should. My energy levels were inconsistent. And I kept looking at my training and thinking, I'm doing everything right. What is going on? And then I started logging what I was actually eating. And it was humbling. Portions I thought were average were bigger than I realized. Pretty consistently. Foods I thought were high in protein had way less protein than I assumed. And on several days of the week, my overall calorie intake was significantly higher than what I thought it was. Not because I was eating anything crazy, just because I had never actually measured any of it. I was completely guessing, and my guesses were off in ways that added up over time. That was the moment I understood why tracking matters, not as a diet tool, not as a restriction tool, but as an awareness tool, because you cannot make informed decisions about something you're not actually measuring. And most people, myself included, before this, are flying completely blind when it comes to what they are actually eating. Now, here's the part I want to be really clear about. Tracking is not the same as restriction. I track a slice of pizza when I eat one. I track a beer. I track the voodoo donut on my birthday. The app does not tell me I'm bad for eating those things. It just records them. What tracking does, it gives me information. And information lets me make better choices across the whole week without turning food into something I'm anxious or guilty about. That is the 80-20 approach applied to food tracking. Awareness, not obsession. Here's one specific thing I changed how I use the app that made a massive difference. I used to log at the end of the day, and what that meant is I was trying to remember everything I ate from memory, which is notoriously inaccurate. And I was getting the information too late to actually do anything with it. By the time I knew I was running short on protein at 9 p.m., the day was already done. So I switched to logging in the morning. I open the app and I pre-log what I'm planning to eat that day based on my meal prep and what I know is on the schedule. Then I adjust as the day goes if something changes, and what that does is flip the whole process from reactive to proactive. I can see by noon that I need to add protein source to my afternoon, and I still have time to actually do it. That one change alone made the app way more useful for me. The download link for MyFitnessPal is in the description below if you want to grab it. It's the app I actually use. There's also a link for the Pillow app if you want to start tracking your sleep alongside your nutrition. Now, let me talk about how I actually use the barcode scanner, because this is a thing that makes tracking practical for a busy person. Manually searching for every food in the database and trying to find the right version with the right macros is time consuming and honestly annoying. The barcode scanner eliminates most of that. It populates automatically in about 2 seconds. For packaged foods, it's almost instant. For whole foods like chicken breast or eggs, I search once and then save it as a frequent food, so I never had to search again. After about a week of using the app consistently, most of your regular foods are saved, and logging a meal generally takes under a minute. The other thing I want to talk about is what I track as my primary number. And this is where I think most people get it wrong. When they start using a calorie tracking app, they focus entirely on calories, and calories matter, don't get me wrong. But for me, the primary number I watch is protein. If I'm hitting my protein target most days, everything else tends to fall into a reasonable range naturally. Protein keeps me full, protein supports the muscle I'm building in the gym, and protein is the macro that I consistently see busy people under eating without even realizing it. So when I open my FitnessPal app, I look at protein first, calories second, everything else is just information. And this is something we dig into inside the High5Fit community, the practical nutrition stuff that makes a real difference for people who are busy and don't have hours to spend analyzing their food. Members get weekly live Q&As where we talk through exactly this kind of thing in real time. AI meal prep tools that build weekly plans with macro breakdowns already included. Real recipes with the macros already calculated, so you're not starting from zero. And a community of people who are all figuring this out together. $9 a month or $78 for the year. Founding members lock in that price for life. High5Fit.club. Let me also talk about the on and off approach to tracking, because I think one of the reasons people give up on food tracking is that they assume it has to be every single day, forever, or it doesn't count. And that's not how I use it, and it's not how I recommend using it. I go through periods of active tracking, usually 2 to 4 weeks, where I'm logging consistently every day, and then I step back and eat intuitively for a while using the awareness I built during the tracking period. And then when I notice something drifting, when the energy is inconsistent or the progress has stalled, or I'm just curious what my numbers actually look like right now, I go back to active tracking for another stretch. That on and off approach has 2 benefits. One, it prevents the tracking from feeling like an obligation that hangs over you forever. 2, each time you come back to tracking, you're building on the nutritional intuition from the last period. After 6 months of on and off tracking, you develop a genuine sense of what's in your food without having to log every single bite. You know roughly what a reasonable portion of rice looks like. You know which restaurant meals tend to be higher than they appear. You know which of your regular snacks are protein dense and which are mostly carbs. That intuition is the real long-term value of the practice, and it sticks with you even on the days and weeks you're not actively logging. The complete setup guide for MyFitnessPal, how I set up my goals in the app, The exact workflow I use each morning, the protein first approach, and the on and off schedule is inside the High Five Fit community. Members get the macro tracking started at highfivefit.club, and it also includes the AI prompt I use to get my starting calorie and protein targets from ChatGPT or Claude, so you're not just guessing at numbers. Here's what I want you to take from all of this. You don't have to track forever. You don't have to track perfectly. You just have to track honestly for long enough to understand what you're actually eating, because that understanding changes how you make decisions, not because you're following rules or restricting anything, but because you actually know what's going in. And knowledge is a completely different kind of motivation than guilt or restriction. It sticks. Save this and share it with someone who thinks they're eating well but hasn't actually looked at the numbers. They might be genuinely surprised by what they find. Drop a comment below. Have you ever tracked your food, and what surprised you most when you did? I read every single comment and I'm genuinely curious. Subscribe to High Five Fit and come be part of the journey. I will see you in the next one. And as always, not medical advice. Talk to your doctor or dietitian before making any changes to your nutrition, especially if you have any history with disorder eating. Also, don't forget to reach out for any real estate needs you have in the Houston market.